But let's get in there with the Jeskai Prowess build. Alright, so this one is... We added Narset and 2 lands. So up to 18. Because we were missing 4 cards to the deck. And so this build is playing not only Steel Cutter and Narset, now we also have Rally the Monastery. Costs 2 less if you cast another spell this turn to make 2 monks. It's possible you want to play some gut shots with this and Steel Cutter. I think it's probably going to be okay, especially because like this card works with Manamorphose. You can go Manamorphose to get 2 monks, even end of turn. But you can also be a pump spell or destroying creature power 4 or greater, so very versatile card. This one looks nice enough to keep. My opponent has suspended a Lotus Bloom. They played Orderly Plaza. I'm going to lead on the Channeler here. I meant we still want to cast that Dragon Meat. Just comparing it to more immediate Storm payoffs, like, was Ave ever fast enough? So one thing is, like, comparing it to Ave, I agree is interesting. But this is like, it's like an Ave in a color that has rituals. And I liked Ave. I actually thought Ave was like a pretty strong card. But the problem with Ave, in my opinion, was always that you had to pair it. You had to pair it. It was a green card where there like you couldn't cast that. You couldn't like ritual into it. But being able to ritual into it is just such a different formula. So if they flare this and we and then if we Mutagenic Growth, we'll have Delirium. If they flare, but they didn't flare, so we have to Surveil, take it to Delirium. Interesting that they chose not to counter. I'm gonna say no to Narset now. Do you think it might be right for Boros to splash some Fountains for Consign? Yeah, I would be pretty interested in doing that, yeah. Alright, so they're going to take 5 down to 12. Our DRC doesn't have Delirium, though. And this was not a great time to lose the die roll, I guess. Pass. So let's see what we surveil before we do anything else. Got to graveyard that since we need Delirium. But not the most complicated turn. Right, so if this resolves, they go to 6, although it's probably getting countered. But I believe, yeah, they would die to this if it resolved. And I think they would have died if it didn't, if we hit Delirium. Or maybe I missed, yeah, we would have had exactly 9 if this got countered. So if this resolves and they have nothing, we win. That's true, Cyan is weaker to Consign. At the very least, it's just like, Cyan is a new card, it has advantages over other options, I want to play with it, it's not really any more complicated to me than that. Although, I guess the good news here is my opponent, they can't win if they have just Belcher, because they can't play an untapped land. So they have to have Tamashi here to get me. I'm gonna go ahead and check on the challenge. I guess it's 1 minute still it starts, never mind. Plenty of time. Unfortunately, my opponent does have the Tamashi. Ever brewed this stuff? Your stuff has Dove Guy. That card's not playable in Modern. It's not even close. Unfortunately, it's very cool. All right, let's concede this match so we can focus on the challenge. Yeah, a lot of people still seem to be underestimating Steel Cutter. I was lurking in Dingo's chat yesterday, and there were so many comments like, "I didn't expect this card to be constructed playable." Card's very good, I think. I think I get Steam Vents because if I draw Rally the Monastery, I can try to fix for that with Manamorphose. Obviously, we need to draw a land or two. Cutter over Jitte. Yeah, Steel Cutter is playable. Jitte wouldn't really be playable, so it's better. I don't know. I had to learn my lesson the hard way that people think Umezawa's Jitte is playable in Modern, but it would not. I mean, it's obviously not playable because it's banned, but I think it would see basically no play. Yeah, maybe people have caught on. I'm gonna capture this, looking for a land and maybe getting Delirium. Okay, there's our land at the very least. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else called Narset like I did. Not that this stuff matters that much. Not that I should be so braggadocious, but it feels good to see that one. Not the easiest card to evaluate. Have your things that would break modern says on the Carnies podcast. Narset or Steel Cutter. I should listen to the Carnies podcast more often. Okay, another street rate. They're already down to 9. They play a Flameblade Adept. Oh, Jitte would break modern? Okay. So here's my usual counter to Jitte would break modern. Think about do we think Boros Energy would play a single copy? Do we think Boros Energy would play a single copy? And if you do think Boros Energy would play a single copy, would they play the first copy over any copies of? I'm just gonna be trying to get Delirium here. Would they play the first copy over any copies of Flage or Goblin Bombardment? Because I think I would play the 4th Flage and the 4th Goblin Bombardment before the first one. Oh, dude, maybe we... I don't know. Maybe we need more Delirium enablers here. 2 decks not basically doing nothing here. In the board for the mirror, maybe. Yeah, but in the mirror, it's I would play the 4th Bombardment or the 4th Flage before I'd play the first Jitte. Or I'd play Wrath the Skies instead. It's I've said that a bunch of trade Jitte and Skull Clamp and no Bandless Modern. They're very slow. Try them in Yogg. I mean, Skull Clamp I think is a much more dangerous card. It's possible I'm wrong about Skull Clamp, but at the very least, I just don't think Jitte would see any play. KRG with the 60 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Yeah, Skull Clamp is a card I think Skull Clamp would possibly break modern, even maybe likely break modern. Okay, now I have Delirium. I have the same cards in my yard, but I also have Lava Dart, so if they attack, they die. I think Black-White Blink plays Jitte very well. Skullclamp is broken. I mean, what matchup is Umezawa's Jitte good in? Sam combo, Elves? It's not. I don't even think it's good against Boros. They have so much removal. Yeah, Boros. I think Skullclamp would be broken. I think Jitte would be unplayable. This is my my take. Or maybe there would be like Hammer, which is a pretty bad deck. Would probably play as a Jitte. I think Boros would play no Jittes. I think Black-White would play no Jittes. Especially when this metagame right now is the metagame is Eldrazi with I think Titan being very well positioned and Belcher seems to be very good. It's Jitte is not good against anything that's too scary in my opinion. But I could be wrong. I have played a lot of Legacy with Jitte though. It's not like it's one of these cards I haven't actually played with. Although one of those cards I haven't played with is Skullclamp. I've only ever played Skullclamp in Cube. Let's say we're like this. On the draw. KF with the 21 months. Thank you. Welcome back. How would the Jitte versus Frog interaction be? Well, unlikely it would come up very often, but I don't think the card Umezawa's Jitte would be very good against the Psychic Frog decks. Yeah, I have seen Voice of Victory in action in Boros. I'm having a hard time evaluating it. It definitely it doesn't seem bad, and it certainly seems like a solid option. I'm having a hard time figuring out if I think the card is optimal, but I think it's solid. Here's something, just one more thing on Jitte too. It's Jitte is a card that excels when creature combat is relevant and when 1 toughness creatures are really prominent. Neither of these things are the reality for Jitte. Also, if you want to negate creature combat, it's much better to play Leyline Scion. Compare Umezawa's Jitte to Leyline Scion, which is a strategy that doesn't see a lot of modern play at the moment. It's compared to Bombardment of Johnny, it's just what are we doing here? All right, the second bolt will get the Swiftspear. Another Bauble. What's the one card you want printed to the modern? I want new, cool, interesting designs. I'm not. There's not any existing legacy or commander card I'm vying for. I think that Magic is at its best when it evolves and it grows and it learns from its mistakes and new fun stuff comes out. And I think that as modern players, we could be better at like wishing for this. I think instead of pining over the same like 5 legacy cards forever. Iteration. All right, let's put Steel Cutter into hand and then play a Channeler this turn. You want Spellseeker? I mean, there are cards that I like selfishly want for my own like pet decks, but this is a little bit different for me. Like thinking that there's really, I don't think Spellseeker would make Games of Modern much better. I don't think Innocent Blood would make Games of Modern much better. And the main thing I want in Modern is not old cards; it's new cards. Yeah, exactly. If you want to play with these old Legacy cards, you can play Legacy. Yeah, Jitte on a Dreadhorde Arcanist. Although these Dreadhorde Arcanist conversations have got to stop. They've got to stop. But like, yeah, like Arcanist and Awakened are not like very playable cards, and like this sounds to me like it would be a pretty poor strategy. What do you think would make Control back in Modern really miss them? Control is viable currently in Modern. You can play Control. Yeah, I don't know what's happening that every Dreadhorde Arcanist fan is here. I mean, I love you, but and we have had some success with that card, but okay, so let's keep this, and then we can go this turn. Get Sacred Foundry, Steel Cutter, Unholy Heat the Hollow One, attack. Next turn we can go Manamorphose, Rally the Monastery on whatever the best mode is. This deck feels just worse than the Jeskai one. Maybe. We're about to win. So I'm sorry. It's different. And it is also Jeskai. Thought I might have accidentally put that in the yard. A lot of cards people want from Legacy are unplayable in Legacy and they want somewhere to play them. I think that's fine. I mean, Legacy is also a format that's like rife with problems. Legacy is a format with a lot of problems, so I'm definitely sympathetic to that, but I just in general think Magic is always better when it's like coming from new cards, or like at least Modern is a format that I think is more interesting and better when new fun cards get printed. And that's just my perspective. The other deck is definitely the better Narset deck. I'll agree with that. I remember last time I saw consistent Control decks in top 8 challenges. Maybe they're tier 2. I would call them tier 2. I think Control is almost always tier 2, but you know, my definition of tier 2 is usually decks that are well positioned in the metagame that's defined by the tier 1 decks. So maybe you have a little bit of a different definition, but I guess we're just going to be using the Rally the Monastery as a pump spell. Or we're going to just be casting Iteration here. I guess I'll cast Iteration. They're very dead. It doesn't really matter, I guess, what we do. A big part of what makes formats good is when there's a lot of variety in the gameplay. When you're like, ooh, I'm playing against aggro, I'm playing against combo, I'm playing against control, I'm playing against mid range, other combo, other aggro, other mid range. But just playing against playing against 2 control players in a row is usually not a great experience. Keep losing the die roll today. And again, I am someone who does like to play against control, but I think it just is generally better when there's more variety. I think when control is a big percentage of the field, the format suffers some. in your insta putting against Breach 12 times, main Friday. Yeah, and that stinks when you play against the same deck over and over again. This might be the best Chrysalis I've ever seen. Okay, gonna graveyard this dart. Gonna try my best not to attack with this channeler. Alright, so we will graveyard this iteration, I think, but we're not gonna crack this Bauble, so we don't have to swing into the Chrysalis. It's so frustrating where it's like, Devoid. When you cast Eldrazi Spawn, make 2 tokens. Reach. Whenever you sacrifice another, like Reach should be at the top. Like literally, why is Reach this third line? I feel like it maybe underneath Devoid, but like these two abilities should be next to each other, and Reach should be at the top. It's literally the sneakiest Reach ever. Huckleberry at the Twitch Prime. Thank you. Welcome back. Oh boy. The top 2 lines are relevant before it's in play. Reach is in play. I guess. I just feel like vanilla keywords should be at the top, but you know, maybe I'm a little bit. Maybe I'm just too old-fashioned, huh? It's an interesting draw. So I can kill this Chrysalis when they block my channeler. Oh shit. I guess it doesn't end up being all that different. Maybe I should just make 2 Prowess tokens. Yeah, let's go wide. What are they going to do? K-return me? Okay, this doesn't do too much. What's the Narset list? You can type !deck and find it. Find all the deck lists in the Mox field. Alright, this could be a tough one to win here. I think I'm gonna go for red unless I don't know what card I'll see on top. Well, no, I need to be able to cast this iteration. Okay, Dart's gonna end up being better than iteration basically all the time. This is not gonna be quite lethal. Maybe if I can surveil into another Lava Dart it would be. It's not super far away. So there it's 16. This is 16 damage here, plus 3, 19. So 20 if not Delirium, 22 if Delirium. They're at 16. They can block one of the 4s, and then that prevents them down to 8, and then they block another one. So 4, 11. Yeah, not lethal. I think better than the average top deck here. They do a lot of stuff. I dead to Worldbreaker? I might not be dead to Worldbreaker. Sire of 7 deaths. Alright. Alright, so Consign's in. I think we go out Narsets, trim a Rally, trim an Iteration. Just try to be fast on the play. Kind of fun. Rally the Monastery gives us an out to Sire. Played 1 over a Dart, actually. The 4th over the Dart. Need to get some reps in with the card, too. It's also like cutting a creature is probably not right, because you should think of these as creatures. Alright, on the play. Should be able to pretty comfortably lead on the Surveil land here. I know the chatter suggested Steel Shaper in this deck, why not this one? I mean, we don't have Mox Opal to alleviate the... Oh, sorry, I should have bobbled myself first. To alleviate the kind of clunkiness of the card, or like to accelerate into it a little bit. We're also, testing Rally the Monastery, which is I think an interesting enough card to be testing. Does the Magebane Lizard also kill us really fast? I mean, you don't want to board it in this matchup. I don't think it really makes sense here. Pretty good draws. Oh, not blue, white, red, white. Getting a little flooded here. Yeah, Lizard is just an anti-storm sideboard card. They hit Emrakul, Chrysalis, Cavern. They chose a Chrysalis. Is it Trinisphere? It is a Trinisphere. I'm going to have to consign this, I think. I guess I don't have to, because I can go attack them for... Yeah, no, I don't have to, because I can just hold up Consign next turn, hit them for 4 down to 8, and then consign their next play, and then just cast a spell to kill them. And there's a spell to kill them, so... Seems like we've got a plan here. If I had consigned this, they would be going to 1, which is notably not 0. 100%. Yeah, I mean, that's seems to be the upside of thinking before casting your spells. Yeah, I believe with Trinisphere in play, you can replicate with 3 mana instead of 4. I'm pretty sure. Guess we don't need to fetch, just dead. Alright, go to game 3. Hopefully we don't get quite as flooded. With Twinisphere, is growth 2 mana or 3? It's always 3. I guess it's not always 3. There's some stuff like I believe. Wait, does Delve get around Trinisphere? No, I don't think so. I'm tripping. I feel like there is an exception to this rule, but I can't remember what it is. Or if there is one. Delve does get around it? Okay, couldn't remember. Well, if they have turn 2 Trinisphere and we don't draw a Consign, it is what it is. Oh my gosh, we drew it. Let's go. Now you can cast the Trinisphere opponent. That's fine. Delve and Convoke get around it. Okay, because they're payment methods, I see. Valid payment methods. Okay, they rumble over K-Command, Devourer, Ugin's Lab. They choose Ugin's Lab, which really stinks because they can just cast a 7-drop next turn, and I'm on the draw, so I have to play my 2-drop. I think. I guess I could play Swiftspear this turn and hold up a 1-mana Consign. I think instead I'm gonna play the Steel Cutter and the Bauble. No, Phyrexian mana doesn't get around the Trinisphere. Okay, so they have now sacked their spawn in a way that they can't cast a 7-drop this next turn, so that's good news for me. In fact, what we might want to do next turn is hold up Consign and then Rally the Monastery, which would also trigger Steel Cutter, giving us 3 Prowess tokens, and we can untap and go Mutagenic Growth, trigger the Steel Cutter. It's pretty cool. Kind of unbelievable how well this worked out for us. Obviously, they do kind of have to cast a colorless spell here. Otherwise, we maintain the holding pattern, I guess. They reveal a Devourer of Destiny. Maybe this is going to be their imprintable. They do imprint it. So if I replicate the Consign, then I don't get to Rally the Monastery, so I think I'm just going to consign the spawns, which make, of course, the Chrysalis not that powerful. Then we make 2 monks, which also gives us basically 3 monks with the Steel Cutter. Big draw step for us. Big draw. They have another K command where they can cast it. Math a little bit for blockers here. Oh, exactly, great. All right, so we're basically 2-0 in this league. We are 2-0 and a half. We lost game 1 against Belcher and then conceded the match to focus on the challenge. Okay, I'm gonna keep this. Godless Shrine, Guide of Souls is interesting. Yeah, went 2-2 in the challenge, beat Titan, beat Belcher, lost to Froculus, lost to Titan. Beat Eldrazi, beat Belcher, lost to Solte Frog, lost to Titan. Yeah, there's a Ketchamos. They pick Felia, though. Maybe saving the iteration. I think it'd be okay to cast it, though. It's hard to overstate just how important the card selection Channeler gives us for this deck. Also, hard to imagine they have a Bowmaster, so I think I'm just going to crack this now. Guide of Soul, or also a Pride for the Guide. They're kind of pausing like they have a Solitude here. Yeah, we dropped out of the challenge. We had pretty bad breakers. Usually like to drop at 2-2. So I'm down to 11. Finding a Lava Dart would be pretty nice here, and or a Bolt. Another one of these. Definitely a little awkward here. They Solitude a Swiftspear in response, gaining 2 life and 2 energy. They pitched a Ketchamos. No respect for the Channeler, I guess. going to graveyard that. Seems like I need to find the removal spell, so let's cast Iteration instead of Rally. Although there's the Lava Dart, so I think now we want to Rally. So my other Sacred Foundry is in the yard. So I guess we're going to Iteration after all. So right now their hand is Felia Mystery card. I think I'm gonna just let I'm not gonna flashback the dart on the cat token this turn. I think I'm gonna graveyard this. Yeah, I think I still like the Jeskai deck. I think it was a pretty good showing. Despite the 2/2, like those frog draws are not super beatable, and Titan's going to be a natural predator that you can play Ashucks for if it's really popular, and hope for the best. So I feel like the deck looked pretty good, which sometimes is more important. So I'm taking 8 down to 3. They're at 17 life. I do have a Lava Dart in the yard. They have a Relic, which isn't doing anything. So I can go, I drew a land. So I can trigger Prowess 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So this is, let's say this is a 5/6. I can, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6 power. And then we can do this for 4 more power. So this is 10 plus 3, 13. 2 damage here. 4 damage here. I think it's exactly lethal. I should. Oh no! I don't have a third basic mountain. The other one's in the yard here. Okay. So instead, possible Lava Dart Surveils 2. Well, we would have exactly lethal if we could just get an untapped land here, but we can't. So instead, I can go bolt this Guide of Souls, flashback Lava Dart on this Guide of Souls, Rally the Monastery, kill this one. Is there a better way to do this? Don't think so. We can kill all. I think we can't. We could just win the game if we had an untapped land here, but our other basic mountains in the graveyard. Maybe we should have 3 basic mountains. Not sure. Yeah, no planes in this deck. Problem is they're going to get to flicker the Overlord, so I don't think we're getting out of this. It's very close, but it's just not quite there. Especially if they drew a white card to Solitude me. Yeah, we can put them down to 2. Oh, they have a they top deck Bowmaster. Honestly, not so bad for being on the draw. So usually I wouldn't care so much for Lava Dart, but they're playing Guide of Souls and Bowmaster, so we'll keep the darts in. I think I'm going to cut a Mutagenic Growth and the Rallies. It's a little bit weird. Maybe I play 1 Rally, 2 Growth. Try this, a bit grindier. I think in this matchup we can keep this hand. Used to have a lot more. Okay, that's a great card to see on top. Used to have a lot more grind with Prowess between Breach and Gigantha. We had 17 damage, right? Well, okay, we had 17 damage last turn, but we couldn't fetch without shocking. We would die if we fetch shocked. Go play around Bowmaster. Is Slickshot not good enough? We have a version with Slickshot, but we're just testing out Rally the Monastery instead. It's possible the Slickshot build is faster and therefore better in this metagame. Seems kind of likely that's the case. We also want to try out, Narset too, just test the new cards, not the craziest, right? Pretty good. Steel Cutter is, at the very least, still phenomenal. Dude, like, them having to Solitude a token here is so good for us. Alright, so I'm going to look at my top card. If I want to draw it, which I do want to draw that. We're going to wait on bolting the Felia. I might not even bolt Felia. Like, if they don't play an Overlord, I'm not going to bolt Felia. We went 2-2 in the challenge. We lost to Frog, Nut Draw, Titan, which we're kind of under sideboarded for. Beat Eldrazi. Oh, I forgot they could do this. Beat Eldrazi. Beat Belcher. And I think the Jeskai deck looked good too. I was pretty excited about it overall. Excited to play it again. Can't say no to that. I do want to wait on this Lightning Bolt until after they untap, because if their last card's Ephemerate, we get like really boned if we bolt on our turn. Also, if we bolt on their turn, we could like cast a Lava Dart on their instep maybe, which would allow us to get an extra creature. Okay, I think we keep that. Which build of Steel Cutter would you say is the best, most fun? Separate questions. I think best and most fun have both been the Jeskai build, the Jeskai Narset build. The Boros build needs updating too. I want to I want to play the Boros updated. Maybe we do that today and we save Ugin turns and Songcrafter for next week. You talked about Ugin and Standard earlier. I couldn't respond then, but exile something, draw 3, gain each turn is usually good enough late game strategies. Okay, that sounds real. Yeah, the Jeskai build's playing all the Moxen. It's been really impressive. Narset has been so impressive in that deck. To play around Ephemerate. No, I'm doing this so I can get an extra Monk token. Also, if they have Ephemerate, I have another removal spell. Oval with the 5 months. Thank you. Welcome back. But I think the Boros build, which doesn't play Amber but does play Opal, I think our updated build looks really good too. So I'm interested to play that. It's possible we could still play. We could play Narset maybe in that kind of build too. Door feels kind of open there. Steel Cutter is so strong, though. If you don't have Mox in your collection, you'd like this Rally version of Slickshot. I mean, I haven't played the Slickshot version yet, but I kind of have a feeling that the Slickshot version is better than this. Do you have something like Jeskai Energy adjacent feature in Narset? Well, we have Boros with Steel Cutter that So this is our updated build of this deck. It seems like it's going to be pretty difficult to fit Opal and Narset into this deck, but it could be good to do. On the draw for game 3, let's keep this against Orzhov. We're going to take out Rally for Slickshot. There's a Slickshot build posted in the Mox field. I think I'm just trying to high roll a... Well. Okay, a little bit of value there. So I might flashback dart on this Ocelot Pride. Yeah, I think we'll do that, then untap and bolt the guide. It's obviously kind of awkward to stone rain ourselves, but we do have it. We can just go on turn 3 Torpor Orb and then turn 4 Manamorphose Iteration, which this seems correct. I think it might be worth trying to get Omnath into Songcrafter. I don't know. I don't think the Omnath decks are amazing, but it possibly could be. You could play it in like the turns build. You don't have to like really rework it. Maybe. All right, I'm gonna play the Orb here. Lava Dart would be pretty good here. Down to 15. I think we just play a Steel Cutter. Pass. Obviously not super powerful. Does Orb beat Overlord? Doesn't enter as a creature. Yeah, the 2-mana Overlord still gets to Impending. 5-mana Overlord doesn't get anything on ETB, but not on cast. Alright, so take 5 down to 10. They've got 3 cards in their hand. Anything else this turn? Manamorphose for blue-red. I'm going to hold up the Bolt to trigger Prowess on their turn, and then maybe I could Mutagenic Growth and get 2 more tokens on their turn. In this deck, it's come up way more often than any other build we've played that we were trying to get 2 tokens on a turn. So they go after my Torpor Orb, so we'll just let that happen. Okay, so I think I'd like to go... Yeah, I guess bolt the Trawler. Mutagenic Growth. This was a very cool sequence here. Kill all your attacking creatures and make 2/1/1s with Prowess. I am like so happy that Steel Cutter is playing as well as it is. It's just such a fun modern card. I'm like really happy with this one. Obviously, Manamorphose is powerful, but we want something to do this turn. Then question. So yeah, you want to double block there. So if your opponent has a removal spell, then they can't kill your creature to keep their Bowmaster around. It's a good question. And yeah, and there's not really a downside. My Channeler. So I am out of basic mountains again. It's gonna be better. So if I fetch Bolt, kill Bowmaster. then they can block one of these, then take 5 plus. Yeah, this is pretty lethal unless they have Solitude. And if they have Solitude, we gain enough life that we don't ever die in the backswing. So let's go for it. Yeah, not in response to Manamorphose, a little bit sus, but maybe they had something else planned. I don't know. Biddies the 2 months. Love the content. Also been loving Kethis with Sim combo recently. I mean, I've been liking that deck too. I think it's pretty solid. Probably going to be underplayed for a while. Okay, we're basically 3-0-1 here. Where we lost round 1 and then conceded to focus on the challenge, which was maybe unwise. Let's get a 4-1 prediction. Way to get haste. Yeah, so when you cast your second spell to trigger Steel Cutter, you can move the Steel Cutter over to the tokens, which gives the card prowess. I feel like this happens with every single new card that ends up being good. There's just like so much text on it. People just miss a piece. They miss a piece. Which is why you subscribe to my YouTube channel and I tell you about all this stuff weeks ahead of time. Oh, sorry, one of my fish tank filters needs ring. I think it's for the hospital tank. Hold on. Okay, maybe not the best setup against Tron here on the draw. Delayed the 21 months. Thank you. Welcome back. What kind of fish do you have? I have 5 angels, 1 platinum parrot. I only have 2 algae eaters left. 1 passed away. I've got 6 Cories and just 5 glowfish. My beta, which was my first fish ever, passed away as well after having him for a while. Yeah, I looked into getting the fish cam, but it's like okay, interesting. Just like the wireless webcams are a pain in the ass. They're really just kind of not worth it, I think. So I'm not sure what's better. I think it's got to be better to go Manamorphose into Rally, because if we go Cori-Steel Cutter into Lightning Bolt next turn, we still have the same number of tokens, but we get to attack with more. Yeah, it's like the wireless webcams are like expensive, and the software for them is kind of weird and janky, and so like if I could figure out how to do and also like getting a lot of wires around the water is probably not a headache. Probably not that big a deal either. So they can get Tron next turn by tapping the mine and the spawn. Is this going to be lethal? It's going to be pretty close. Why do that on my turn? I guess there's not a lot of reason not to, but I guess there is not really any reason to either. I don't think this game ends up being any different, but yeah, we should have done that on their turn. Although I wonder, like, was there any way? I guess drawing Bauble wouldn't have helped, especially not with the Chalice. Okay, let's save the Mutagenic Growth so that we can trigger the Steel Cutter next turn. We get rewarded also if we draw another Steel Cutter, or if we draw a Swiftspear, or if we draw Rally the Monastery. I guess you can still cast Rally the Monastery. Also, if this token connects next turn, like we get to use those Prowess triggers. We may also just get Ugin. I'll say we still haven't seen almost any Ugins get cast, but my opponent probably has it in their deck. Unclear if they have it in their hand. If we had cast both of these, they would be at 7 here, I think. Ugin is 173 ticks, almost no one can rent them. Okay, cool. Well, I mean, some people are going to have them. Ugh. So do I cash in both of my Mutagenic Growths for a single... Upside seems like it's there. there. I think that we can win this game often enough just by like being able to kill the Karn this turn, making sure that we have a spell to play each turn to trigger Prowess. If we can steal game 1, we get to bring in the Consigns. Maybe we should have some Cleansing Wildfires in the board too. Was liking it in the Jeskai, other Jeskai build. Okay, so they didn't block, so we're gonna target one of these. And then Karn down, they take 6 down to 9. And they only have 1 card in their hand, but they have the Mind Stone and their draw for turn. So basically dead to any big spell. Chalice had 1? So my life total is lower than theirs. Alright, so go to game 2. Consigns in. I'll say we haven't drawn a Narset. We have been boarding them out a bunch. I do kind of feel like the Narset's maybe a little bit clunky in this build. Despite them being so good in the Opal Amber build. That's probably where you have to stick to this card. I think I want the Wear Tears for Chalices also. So I think we go down in iteration and... You know, usually I would go down. Let's go down 2 Dart, 2 Mutagenic Growth. It's weird because like the first Dart is sometimes just so good to be that extra spell trigger. Although I guess Growth is that too. I'm sorry, I got 1 more Dart that I've been 2. Let's go down to Rally. You just cut white. Yeah, I think the next time I play this deck, I think I want to try just Steel Cutter and Slickshot Show Off. Rally has been fine. Rally has definitely been fine, but it stretches your mana a lot, and I don't really feel like it's been better than Show Off would have been. Cori is better than Show Off. Cori is insane. Cori is like kind of the best card in the deck, maybe, or the best threat in the deck. And I have an Is It list posted. It maybe doesn't have the preordains in there yet, but it's posted. Like Rally's been good. I like how like versatile it is, but Cori is indeed in the house. Was Iconoclast just too slow? I think Iconoclast is. I would play Soul Scar Mage over it. I would play Slickshot Show Off over it. I would play Rally the Monastery over it. I think the card is just not good. I think even just making a bunch of 1/1s, no prowess, like it's kind of good against no deck. You know, like the young Pyromancer effects just ain't what they used to be. That's true. We've been kind of missing creature count for Delirium. We've been feeling it some. What do you about playing Cori and Blue-Red Murktide? I think it could be good. Like, so one issue, of course, is like when you're triggering Prowess. Like, Prowess effects are usually way better when you're casting a bunch of spells on your turn than your opponent's turn. But you can make tokens on your opponent's turn with it pretty often, probably. I would say that it's almost definitely worth trying. So they imprint Sire. Maybe they're going to play a Chalice. Okay, a Mind Stone. Chalice would not have been so bad. Deck Maiden's been playing it. Cool. I mean, Steel Cutter is very good. I'm not surprised. So if they don't take the Rally, I might be able to kill the Seer with the Rally. They probably have to take this Manamorphose though. Okay, they took the Lightning Bolt, which is definitely the worst choice. So that's good news. I guess maybe Steel Cutter would have been a worse choice here, but close to the worst choice at least. This card does indeed have more text. So good showing for Rally here. Maybe you do want to play Rally. Wow. They dead? They return 2 Thought-Knot Seer? Wow, dead through a turn 2 Thought-Knot Seer. It's pretty cool. That was a very good case for Rally the Monastery. I think I'm still just going to play 3 on the draw, though. Could there be a Rally the Monastery deck with Clever Lumimancer and Lean in Light Scribe? So as far as the Magecraft stuff goes, I think the best thing you can do with Magecraft is to pair it with Ground Rift, which I feel like is a little off-plan for Rally the Monastery. But you can find my Clever Lumimancer deck in the Mox field. I don't think it's particularly good. We 2-2 dropped the challenge, beat Belcher, beat Eldrazi, lost to Titan, lost to Sultai Frog. The Sultai Frog draws were pretty great. Okay, so we've got Consign this time. Maybe you shouldn't play Surveillance. I don't know, you probably have to play one, but when it's in your opening hand like this, it is so punishing in this archetype. Could Rally the Monastery maybe be a sideboard card with Slickshot main? I don't think it's an efficient enough sideboard card. It's like Modern right now especially, but also in general. Your sideboard cards have to be so impactful. I'm going to play around Chalice of the Void here. Although I do think I'm going to also counter this Mind Stone because I need to use my mana. But you know what I mean? Like your sideboard cards have to be so impactful. You really can't afford to goof around with them and play like just versatile cards in your sideboard just aren't very good. Unless they're like powerful and efficient in a lot of matchups. That's kind of what a versatile sideboard card means these days. But like kind of classic versatile sideboard cards that like do a lot of things in a lot of spots. Like in my mind, this just isn't really much of a thing anymore. Okay, we can wear tear this next turn, but yeah, let's get a rally going here. I'm gonna graveyard this for Delirium, despite being kind of sad to see that go. This isn't terrible. I think I am gonna graveyard it though, because we're gonna go Swiftspear. Yeah, it just doesn't fit well because I'm gonna be almost out of cards by the time I actually play it, and I also get so many more Surveils too. Well, I didn't find anything better, so maybe I should have kept a Steel Cutter. They have an Urza's Tower on top. They also missed their land drop last turn, notably. Maybe they have a Fleshraker. Well, that's an insane draw. So I'm rewarded for all those Surveils, I guess. I think they're dead. Okay. It's good enough for them to concede to. So we went 4-0-1. I'll say this too. Despite us feeling like we didn't like the Narset so much in this build, Narset's been very good. Oh, sorry, Narset's been insane in this build. I don't think Narset is as good in the Prowess build. Rally the Monastery was really good. I feel like that last game especially makes me want to play this deck again. We also didn't cast Narset a single time, so hard to say, but I feel like that was a very good showing for Prowess. I'll say that. And the fact that we beat up on Eldrazi too is also pretty promising. Like that's a good reason to play this deck. We also beat the Guide Pride deck. So a good showing here. Now we have a lot of other decks to get to, like the Ugin Taking Turns deck, the Teamer Song.